Is this what you want? This fucking foliage? Is this what you want? Mr. Dips? Is this what you want? Me standing in front of EC3 buying designer coats? Is this what you want? Me sitting in some hipster hotel in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, fluffing pillows? Is this what you want? I don't believe this. This graffiti art, the hotels, avocado toast. All I want is a fucking Guinness. An ice cold Guinness. What the hell does that mean? Oh, this is what you wanted. This is your Monday Night Raw review right here on Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here for the Monday Night Raw review on Off the Script. It is March 23rd, 2020. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves, washing your hands, following good hygiene. I'm sure you're very well rested after Monday Night Raw tonight. I fell asleep during the show, I know that. Kinda. Were we in for an exciting, different, full of life, trying to roll with the punches episode of Monday Night Raw? Or did we get the same old boring, lifeless, dull, stale, formulaic, empty arena Monday Night Raw? Kinda. I've been preaching, and of course you got the elitists out there. You got these fucking wannabe analysts out there telling me to lighten up on WWE. They're doing it for entertainment. Listen, motherfucker, you're still on USA Network live. I don't give a shit what's going on in the world today. If you're giving me a 3-hour program, I expect to be entertained. I have not been entertained, so you will get my criticisms. It's very simple. Now, I've been very critical of how WWE is operated under such conditions, and I have given my opinion. I have given my fair share of criticisms on what they should do. Now, it's clear to the common goon what needed to be done after that horrific first empty episode of Monday Night Raw from the Performance Center. And Friday on SmackDown was the first go-around for the test. Then Monday Night Raw did not fix what Friday did. And then we were blessed with AEW. And what Dynamite did was fantastic. Tony Khan and company hit it out of the ballpark. And then even on Friday, SmackDown did not look at what Dynamite did and apply what they did over on Friday. They gave you the same show that the week previous SmackDown gave you, and what Monday Night Raw gave you. It's as if WWE was sitting in on a huge midterm and they had the Chinese kid sitting next to him, right? And he's offering the fucking cheat sheet up. Hey, WWE, please copy my answers. I already finished. I got a 45-minute time limit for this test. I finished it in about 10 minutes. Here's the answers. WWE peeking over. You think they do that? Nah. They say, no, we don't want your cheat sheet. We're going to go and fail this test because that's what we do. Once a failure, always a failure. Now, if I was to say to you guys tonight that WWE kind of listened and kind of took a clue or several clues from AEW Dynamite, would you believe me? More than likely, you would not believe me. Because why would AEW have anything to do with WWE? Why would WWE look for AEW as a foundation on what to do They don't want to be labeled copycats. They don't want to go into something knowing that they did not do it best. And in typical Vince and WWE ways, which are ignorant, they will try to get over their vision and their version of an empty arena show, even though AEW did it right, just to prove that they did it better, which we all know they didn't, and they won't if AEW continues with Dynamite, as long as they are allowed to do the shows that they did last Wednesday. So WWE tonight borrowed from AEW's idea to make Raw look better on national television. It looks like the decision makers, Vince and would finally listen to the complaints from fans. Or did they? Did they really listen to complaints from people like me? Probably. They should listen to me more often. This week on Monday Night Raw, they moved the hard cam to avoid showing the empty seats in the Performance Center as much as possible. I didn't see any empty seats in the Performance Center. They were taken away. The seats were not there. So, if you watch Monday Night Raw tonight, you immediately seen a huge difference from the opening segment that featured Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, to when AJ Styles cut his promo on The Undertaker, to when Charley Caruso interviewed Shayna Baszler, to Randy Orton accepting the challenge from Edge at WrestleMania. Now, following last week's edition of AEW Dynamite, fans have been asking WWE on social media to take AEW's idea and use the stage area as the background instead of the empty chairs. It took them 3 shows to finally realize they were fucking up. But this is WWE's ignorant ways. They didn't make the change on Raw. They didn't make the change on SmackDown. But the change was made tonight on Monday Night Raw. Now, Monday Night Raw will be taping tomorrow, Tuesday, for next week. So now we are blessed with a taped episode of Monday Night Raw. And more than likely, it will look the same for next week's show, being that it's going to be taped tomorrow. And I believe they will be taping the Raw After Mania tomorrow as well. So we have 2 Monday Night Raws being taped on Tuesday, and then WWE will be taping WrestleMania on Wednesday, night 1, and then taping WrestleMania on Thursday, night 2. I hope, and Vince better hope, that the governor of Florida does not issue a lockdown after what had happened in spring break in Fort Lauderdale or wherever these kids were spring breaking down in Florida that did not pay attention to what is going on. They were actively spreading the outbreak in and around southern Florida on spring break. And the governor had not done anything to close any of the beaches down and send these people home. So now there is, I believe, a GoFundMe or something, a petition, not a GoFundMe, but a petition or change.org situation going on for everybody in Florida getting together and banding together and doing something as far as closing Florida down for the next 3 weeks, like a lot of other places are, in lieu of this outbreak going on. So WWE better hope that nothing comes of this while they're filming WrestleMania. So, in the second hour, AJ Styles cut a promo on The Undertaker from the stage area during the entrances for the tag team match featuring Andrade and Angel Garza, which we'll talk about tonight as well, versus Rick O'Shea, who was clean-shaven tonight. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but bro, Jesus Christ, you're on a losing streak and then you want to shave your facial hair off? I mean, you're a double loser now. Now, I understand about a clean-shaven man and maybe you wanted to change it up. But holy shit, man, there are some things that people should not change about their outward appearance. I would never shave what I have going on here completely off. Otherwise, I'd look like a loser like Ricochet. Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Maybe Ed Humberto to that fucking tag team, man. The Well, if I spoke Spanish, I'd come up with a nice little fucking funny nickname for all these three guys. You know? Something losers in Spanish. The three losers, like the three amigos, the three losers. Ricochet, Cedric, and Humberto Carrillo. So the production made sure not to show the area where the audience would sit, and they moved the chairs, or they removed the chairs completely, which was a good thing. All of this led to a better presentation from last week's Monday Night Raw, and obviously the horrendous SmackDown show we seen on Fox. Brian Alvarez obviously took note to this, along with everybody else that had a fucking brain. Alvarez says they moved the hard cam. And then Tony Khan sent him a gif of a Spider-Man gif, and it was of the Green Goblin. You know, I'm something of a scientist myself, says the Green Goblin. There you go. So, yes, Tony Khan is taking credit for Monday Night Raw, looking visibly better tonight. And I would have to assume so. There you go. Blame it on Tony Khan for why Monday Night Raw looked good. Now, I know some of the cretins out there probably won't give Tony Khan his credit, but it is what it is. And this is Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It is March 23rd, 2020. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. I tried to tweet out as much as I could tonight. I could barely pay attention to this show. It was not a good night. Again, on Monday for WWE. But make sure you guys are following me on social media. You want to be on Twitter because we'll be live tweeting during Wrestlemania and all shows possible. So make sure you guys do that. If you want to check out any of the other videos that you might have missed on the channel, links are down below in the description of this very video. Everything is easy access for you, so if you missed something like Off the Script and SmackDown and AEW and anything last week, I got some video game content on there as well. Make sure you guys go and check that out. And if you want to support the podcast via Patreon, you can certainly do that as well. Patreon.com/JDfromNY206. Shout out to all my patrons. I appreciate all of you. Thank you guys so much for all that you do. And if you guys want to do that, again, link is down below. Couple of notes that I want to go over with you quickly. Number one, I might have hats coming out. I mentioned this a couple of weeks back, but I finally might have found a home for the official Off the Script baseball caps. I will keep you guys posted on Twitter, so make sure you guys look out for that. Hopefully within the next week or so, I should have something up. I got something brewing. And I am going to have a couple of live streams this week. I am a big video game guy. I play a lot of Destiny. That takes up most of my time. But I bought the new Doom Eternal. I'm having a big live stream. Should go about 2.5 hours tomorrow. I want to get deep into the game right off the bat. So if you guys are into that, I'll be live streaming tomorrow afternoon, being that Tuesday is usually my off day for all wrestling-related content. And I put out a tweet on Twitter about something on Twitch. Now, I got my official Twitch channel. It's always linked down below. Make sure you guys are following that. I usually stream some fun stuff over there about Call of Duty and Destiny and whatever I feel like playing and streaming at the time. But I might be setting up something for Saturday night, and I might be doing a watch-along for an old classic WrestleMania on the WWE Network. I'm going to narrow it down to about 4, and then I'm going to have you guys vote on it on my Twitter account, so make sure you guys look out for that. So if you're interested in that, I'll be having a watch-along. Some cold beverages will be here. I'll be chatting with you guys. We'll be watching along in real time for whatever WrestleMania I choose, so it should be fun. I'm just letting you guys know about that in advance. Leave me some opinions down below. What WrestleMania do you want to watch along with me? Down below in the comments. And today's podcast is brought to you by Honey. JoinHoney.com. And if you guys want to save some extra money, and I know Amazon is booming, Honey is your #1 app to save you some money. So I want to thank them for supporting the podcast. JoinHoney.com/offthescript. Let's get into the show tonight, guys. Monday Night Raw open with Paul Heyman. We seen a rerun right off the bat of Paul Heyman and Drew McIntyre. Paul Heyman obviously was talking about Brock Lesnar and how dominant of a champion he's been. And we seen Brock giving F5s to Roman, to Rollins, to Hogan, to Orton, The Rock, Ric Flair, Steve Austin, John Cena, even The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Then we seen Drew McIntyre get back at Paul Heyman. This was the video package that they showed a couple of weeks ago. So right off the bat, they showed a rerun on Monday Night Raw. Then we seen Drew McIntyre, who said everything Heyman said was true. He said there hasn't been anyone who's conquered everything in his path quite like Lesnar. Then Brock ran into me. So they went to a clip of Drew eliminating Brock from the Royal Rumble, trying to sell their storyline for WrestleMania. He said last week on Raw, which was not last week because neither of them were on the show last week. Last week on Raw, we seen Brock and Drew McIntyre in that epic moment where McIntyre had Claymore kicked him 3 times, and then he held up the WWE Championship, so they showed that. He said he's learned in his life to not make a Claymore promise he can't back up, so he's choosing his words carefully. I'm going to Claymore Lesnar, flush in the face, knock him on his ass, and pin him to become the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE Heavyweight Champion of the world at WrestleMania. So, rerun. We seen a rerun promo from a couple weeks back. Then we go live inside the Performance Center. Hard cam facing the stage, copying AEW, but good on them. Got to give WWE credit for finally getting the fucking memo after 3 weeks. So they cut to the Performance Center with the hard cam aimed at the entrance. Instead of the empty chairs, in the ring stood Heyman and Lesnar. You could see Phillips and Saxton in the background. I like that they moved the commentary table from the ringside area to where it usually is on the stage. Because I gotta say, man, it's probably annoying for the wrestlers to hear the fucking... Now, I'm sure they still hear them anyway, but having them right there and Michael Cole yelling and you hear him commentating your match in real time, that's gotta be awful. That's gotta be awful, man. So I'm sure they're still heard on the stage, but it's a little less annoying. So you can see Phillips and Saxton in the background. He says, it's time to be honest with each other here for a change. He said, we live in a most uncertain time right now, and this time in history, they all just need a little certainty in their lives. I give you that certainty in Brock Lesnar. It's like he's fucking campaigning for president, this motherfucker. He said McIntyre can train his ass off. He can go to the gym. He can spar with mixed martial artists. He can do anything he wants. Said Drew cannot beat Lesnar at WrestleMania. He emphasized it's WrestleMania too big for one night, which I gotta admit, man, it's fucking disgusting. It really is. And I'll complain about it till I'm blue in the face. You know, again, these so-called analysts, right? They want to jump on everybody that complains about WWE. We got to give WWE some credit because they're entertaining us and they're putting on a live show. Negative, motherfucker. Negative. They are always susceptible to my criticisms. Why is it too big for one night this year? But the last couple of years, they've exceeded 7 hours, 7.5 hours, damn near 8 hours of WrestleMania. It wasn't too big for one night last year when the fucking people of East Rutherford, New Jersey were leaving the arena at 1 o'clock in the fucking morning. Now it's too big for one night. Do you care to tell me why? Why is it too big for one night now that we're in the Performance Center in front of 0 human beings? Do you see how WWE's marketing and WWE's PR and the way that they push their initiatives and their agendas make you look like a fucking blithering idiot? I am an idiot for watching this shit. You are an idiot for listening to their garbage spewed in the way that it is. It's nauseating. It really is. I would like... Do you know why I shit on shit like this? It's because it's unnatural. It's too big for one night. Really? Really? This WrestleMania in this situation is too big for one night. I understand you're trying to roll with the punches for WrestleMania. I know you want to get it out there because of all the uncertainty. But my God, can you be a little bit more organic in your delivery? Let me know what is going on and why you're changing things up. Now, I know I'd like to hear it from WWE. It's as if WWE pretends to be bigger than all. I don't like it. It's nauseating. So, He said Drew cannot beat Lesnar in WrestleMania, though he emphasized it's too big for one night. He said God's prayer line is going to give him only a busy signal right now. He said Drew will hope that Lesnar will answer the prayer of making it quick and painless. But after what happened at the Royal Rumble and in Brooklyn, Lesnar will make it quick, but he won't make it painless. I assure you, when WrestleMania is over, Drew McIntyre is going to be just another bitch that tried, another wannabe that got douched out by the greatest champion to ever stand in a WWE ring, the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE heavyweight champion of the world, then, now, and forever, Brock Lesnar. This was a very good promo by Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman cuts a great promo 9.8 out of 10 times. You know, sometimes it's just him regurgitating the same shit that we heard in the previous week, but this was awesome. Some of these promos actually have a better effect and a better feel in front of no audience. This was one of those promos. Heyman in front of a live audience. Yes, he plays up to the crowd. Yes, he does the whole shtick where he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman," and everybody sings along with him. This was one of those promos that worked better in the empty arena situation, and I'm wondering how much Brock Lesnar got paid to stand there in an empty performance, and it had to be about $250K, I'm assuming, $300K maybe, just to stand there and look menacing. Who is better than Brock Lesnar? Nobody. So this was a good promo by Paul Heyman. He made his points, and he sold how over Brock Lesnar is and how dominating Brock Lesnar is, even though Brock Lesnar has been on the receiving end of Drew McIntyre on a couple of occasions leading into WrestleMania. So we go to an immediate rerun. We get a 2015 Royal Rumble rerun. Not of the Royal Rumble match, but of the triple threat match between Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and Seth Rollins. Lesnar walked into this match as the WWE champion. John Cena was obviously chasing number 17, which he should have been doing this year against Bray Wyatt. I'm over that now, but I got news. I got some major news on John Cena and Bray Wyatt, which we'll probably talk about on OTS this coming weekend. WWE is really looking to make their match special at WrestleMania 36 and do something very, very different for WWE. And I'm talking cinematic, movie-like different. And this match is going to definitely live up to that rumor of WWE filming in multiple locations. So they're looking to really make this one special. We'll talk about it this Friday. And then Seth Rollins obviously was the Money in the Bank winner. He had the briefcase with him, and then obviously this was before WrestleMania 31, before he cashed in on Brock Lesnar and pinned Roman Reigns to win the WWE Championship in WrestleMania 31. So that was that. I'm not going to sit here and talk about it. I love the match. Don't get me wrong. It's one of the greatest triple threat matches in WWE history. All I will say is I understand WWE and their reasoning for these reruns. I don't like it. I think it's fucking awful. And I think it shows WWE's lack of creativity severely. But man, oh man, you gotta find different ways to show me what you're doing as far as WrestleMania build goes. You gotta be a little bit more creative. You cannot rely on these reruns. You can't. And then in typical WWE fashion, they don't book anything to make the WWE Network sound good. You can watch classic matches like this on the WWE Network for $9.99. You want to go watch and relive John Cena matches on the WWE Network, or see Brock Lesnar dominate WrestleMania like he has in the previous years. WWE Network. They don't push the WWE Network. They just shoot you right into a match that means nothing to anybody on this show. That's it. That is it. They're showing a match from the 2015 Royal Rumble that has absolutely nothing to do with anything going into WrestleMania. I mean, the only symbolism here that I see from this match is that Brock Lesnar was the WWE champion going into this year's Royal Rumble, and he's going into this year at WrestleMania the WWE champion like he went into that year's WrestleMania. That's the only common denominator here that I see. So it really isn't anything to do with WrestleMania, which you got to be creative. You got to be creative about filling the time on these shows, man. This was awful. I didn't watch. I went to go do my dishes after dinner. Moving on. Rob Gronkowski. He will be hosting WrestleMania. We've seen clips of Rob Gronk with Baron Corbin on SmackDown, as if watching it on Friday wasn't bad enough. So we go to AJ Styles starting hour 2. Styles walked onto the stage with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Styles said, for the first time in history, WrestleMania is too big for one night. I'm too big for your mother on one night. Never mind WrestleMania. He says it's not official that he and the Fiend, I had to get that in there. Eventually, somewhere this season with this new hashtag or this new motto, I had to get the your mother joke in there. And I'll probably do it again over the next couple of shows. Maybe it's your sister, maybe it's your fucking grandmother, I don't know. He said he doesn't care which night it's on. And he said it's not official that he and the Phenom will go head-to-head at WrestleMania. Well, when the fuck are you going head-to-head with The Undertaker? When are you going head-to-head with The Undertaker? If it's not a WrestleMania. What the fuck are you wasting my time for? He said The Undertaker might care because he's not sure when his wife will let him out of the house. That is, if he's allowed out of the house and not locked down wherever he is. He's totally lost control of everything. He said or just like how Vince McMahon lost complete control over WrestleMania. That type of control. He said last week The Undertaker came out with big stretchy pants. He tried to come up with the name, and he couldn't figure out what the name of the pants were that The Undertaker was wearing. Anderson offered, depends. So those are old lady diapers. Styles said, those are diapers, but he may or may not have had those on too. Gallows then said, maternity pants? Styles said, yes. And he looked like a gothic version of Dog the Bounty Hunter. No, a gothic version of Tiger King. If you haven't, you will. That's a sweet burn. Trust me on that one. Styles then asked Anderson and Gallows if they seen The Undertaker's Twitter account. He said it's ridiculous that The Undertaker's even tweeting in 2020. Join the party, Mr. Styles. Join the party. We all think it's ridiculous, but it's 2020. What do you expect? But it showed The Undertaker swimming with a tiger at a rescue, I guess, convention or a rescue thing that he did with wildlife animals. He pointed at a big screen, and it showed Taker and Michelle McCool in a YouTube video with an actual tiger, saying the tiger needs them to be protected. Said The Undertaker is talking about tigers now. Who is this man? He asked. Has he lost complete control over himself? He said if he hasn't been the same since he lost to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, I wanted to take his soul, but his wife Michelle has beat me to it, he said. He says his mystique is gone. He says he's liking things on social media and posting selfies on Instagram. Who is this man? He asked. He said he doesn't want the Mark Calloway who's posting selfies on Twitter. I want The Undertaker from yesteryear. That's who I want. And he's nowhere to be found. Well, I mean, I want a good Monday Night Raw and a good SmackDown on Fox, but they're nowhere to be found either. So you can't get what you want all the time, Mr. AJ Styles. He said he will give them what they want to see and bring back the dead man in a match that he would love to be in. So then I got my juices flowing. I got my brain juices flowing. And I'm like, you're going to give me a casket match, aren't you? Let me hear a casket match. I know I'm not the only one who was thinking maybe a casket match or a buried alive match in a real life graveyard. Right? If WWE wants to be cinematic with their WrestleMania matches, their top tier matches, and they want to take that multiple location situation to the next level. Have it on a graveyard. It's going to be within the CDC guidelines, I'm sure, right? Or maybe not, depending on who's buried in this graveyard. But regardless, I think that would have been great and really would have fit into the AJ Styles line of putting the final nail in the coffin of The Undertaker. So, he said he wants to challenge The Undertaker in a match that's right in his wheelhouse. He wants to bring back the dead man in a match that he would love to be in. A Boneyard Match, he said. Now, we don't know what type of rules and regulations consist of a Boneyard Match. We don't know if it's a buried alive match just under a different name. We don't know. We don't know if it's like a different situation where they're going to actually film at a different location. We have no idea what's going on here. So this kind of took everybody back. A Boneyard Match. It sounds kind of lame. It definitely does the deal as far as getting The Undertaker and AJ Styles into a no DQ situation, because I don't really trust The Undertaker to deliver a match with AJ Styles. No matter how great AJ Styles is, I just can't see it happening at WrestleMania in front of no fans, and you get to experience all that sound and that extra just quietness. Maybe if it was 80,000 people, they would have gotten away with it, but they're not going to get away with that type of thing in an empty performance center. I'm telling you right now. So no matter how lame this match sounds, this might be the best case scenario for The Undertaker and AJ Styles. This is your match, Taker. This is for you. He said when it's over, because he vowed to bury him, he has the perfect plot picked out for him. He said, ironically enough, it's the same plot his wife picked out when she buried your career. And then he laughed, and then he said, got him again. I've been really liking AJ Styles in these promos. He's obnoxious. And no matter what people think about the feud with AJ and The Undertaker, I've honestly thought, out of everything that we're seeing on Monday Night Raw, I honestly think the story and the build for this match has been second best next to Randy Orton and Edge. I really do like, for some weird reason, I do like the build and the story to this match. I like the fact that AJ Styles is calling out the real man behind The Undertaker. I like the fact that AJ Styles is saying to The Undertaker that you only come back for WrestleMania because you can't give up that spotlight. You're taking that spotlight away from guys like me. I like the fact that they're bringing awareness to the fact that The Undertaker having an Instagram and having a Twitter and acting all normal away from The Undertaker that we all grew up idolizing. I like the fact that they're bringing that to attention and making it feel bizarre. It's bizarre to see The Undertaker in that situation. It really is. I like that they're taking that and making it into a storyline. Now, there's got to be a reason why they're doing that. And I read today that The Undertaker might be taking a little bit of his previous gimmicks that are not the dead man, and they may be applied into this situation. The Undertaker might be getting a gimmick change going into WrestleMania slightly. Now, the appearance of The Undertaker on Monday, when we seen the contract signing, was one that took a lot of people by surprise. He did not do his whole entrance. He didn't do the smoke, the lightning, the thunder, the darkness inside the Performance Center. It was just a raw, uncut version of The Undertaker. It was more like a mixture of American Badass and Big Evil Undertaker. So I was very happy that they didn't go about making up The Undertaker to be the Phenom in front of no fans, because it would have looked completely out of place. It would have looked absolutely ridiculous on Monday Night Raw. So he didn't have the dead man gear on. He was acting like the badass Big Evil, right? So it could be due to this storyline that WWE's trying to push the difference between The Undertaker that we know and love and then Mark Calloway, who really Mark Calloway is behind the Undertaker character. Now, that said, there are rumors that The Undertaker was bringing back an old character for WrestleMania 36, and this is still the ongoing rumor. And I know that Brad Shepard, no matter what you think of him, has talked about this on his podcast. And he noted that The Undertaker was set to come out on a motorcycle at WrestleMania. To further that report, it was noted that it's not clear if that will still happen with WrestleMania no longer taking place in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium. Then Sportskeeda started to report that The Undertaker is leading into another run, shall we say. He has this particular way of doing things, but he wants to have some longevity, and maybe the Undertaker character isn't his thing at this moment in time. He feels that it might not be right now. So they add that the rumors of the American Badass returning aren't accurate either, because that was more of an Attitude Era character, and that also might not work. Instead, we've now gotten reports that the Undertaker has been lobbying for some type of change to his character. It's something that he wants to change up. And being that AJ Styles has made these personal references from The Undertaker's life on social media and with The Undertaker's wife, and they're hitting on all those points, that The Undertaker might have agreed to these little subtle changes as far as his character goes. And Sportskeeda says that everyone finally agreed that the dead man has simply run its course, and so now he has to evolve, making things different. So I would be okay with that. I really, really would be okay with that. I've said it from the beginning, where a lot of people might have been bothered by the mystique of The Undertaker being gone. It's 2020. The fact that AJ Styles made mention of The Undertaker being on Twitter and being on Instagram, it didn't really bother me, because this is what we expect in 2020. And what did you expect The Undertaker to do? To be mysterious his entire career? Yeah, maybe if we were fucking 7 years old all over again, but we are now all adults. Everybody that watched The Undertaker back in the day, that Undertaker, that version of The Undertaker will always be in our hearts. Always. And every time we see that version of The Undertaker, it's always going to bring us back to that time. Do you want to see that version of The Undertaker? And if he continued doing that version of The Undertaker, tarnish that version of The Undertaker? Or do you want to see him go in a more realistic, down-to-earth, just who Mark Calloway is version of The Undertaker? I think it's time we see that. I really do. I'm over the dead man. And in fact, this should have been done a while ago, because he left the boots, he left the hat and the coat in the ring when he lost to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 33. So why not? Why not? That should have been done the first match he had back from that situation. But I'm glad we're seeing it now. It just fits the overall storyline and where AJ Styles has taken this storyline into being very personal. So we'll see what happens with The Undertaker. And like I said, coming out of Monday Night Raw, I'm excited to see Drew get his big win. I really am. He deserves it. And I think he's going to do well if WWE doesn't fuck it up, because they always fuck up the aftermath. But out of everything on Monday Night Raw, I do think, as far as story goes, I wasn't too keen on this going in, but I think AJ really sold me on this storyline. He did. He's done a phenomenal job on this, no pun intended, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do as far as maybe this being also cinematic, along with Bray Wyatt and John Cena. Maybe they film that at a funhouse somewhere. Maybe they do it in some abandoned fucking broken down cabin. Who knows? Who knows? But this could also benefit from those cinematic features as well. Undertaker and AJ Styles in a Boneyard match. We'll see what happens there. Charley Caruso interviewed Angel Garza, Zelina Vega, and Andrade. Vega was ripping into Charley. She said she was not looking good. She's looking so. She looked good. Charley always looks good. She said that they are the most charismatic team in WWE, and soon Andrade will be the most decorated champion in all of WWE. Until WWE buries Andrade, you could say that for now, but I do not think that this charismatic team of Garza and Andrade are going to be taking the tag team titles. I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens. She said the Street Profits can dance forever, but not for long with the tag team titles. Garza then gave Caruso a very flirty look. It's Angel Garza. He could get any woman he wants. And then he walked off camera. He returned and made contact to flirt with her again. She smiled and she looked very embarrassed. Almost as if she wanted to jump Angel Garza right then and there. So, this match was announced. Garza and Andrade was announced against the Street Profits on Monday, a couple hours before Raw. I tweeted about it. There was also an Alistair Black versus Bobby Lashley match that was announced for WrestleMania. I don't know why. I really don't. It's like WWE put these names inside a randomizer, and Alistair Black and Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, Garza, and Andrade came up in this randomizer. How else could we make WrestleMania worse than it already is? How can we make WrestleMania more overwhelming when it doesn't need to be than it already is? And out comes these two matches. I don't understand it. I really don't understand why either of these matches were made for WrestleMania. It seems like WrestleMania is getting bigger and bigger. I think they're really taking this too big for one night thing seriously. So we got these two matches announced. Lashley versus Black and the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Andrade. No build, no feud. All these guys, these two matches have absolutely nothing to do with anything on WWE TV. Black has never come across Lashley. He didn't even run into Bobby Lashley tonight at all. Lashley wasn't even there. Street Profits had nothing to do with Garza and Andrade before this episode of Monday Night Raw. WWE is simply adding matches for the sake of adding matches and for the sake of getting everybody on the show. It is fucking ridiculous. I would have rather these guys been kept off the show, and honestly, there really is no excuse for not holding these matches on a random episode of Monday Night Raw. These are Monday Night Raw matches that are being booked on WrestleMania. They don't mean anything. They're just matches to get these wrestlers, these guys on the show. And I hate that. Quantity over quality, says WWE. I've always been the quality over quantity type, but I guess I'm in the wrong. It's disgusting. So how does the team of Andrade and Angel Garza get the tag team title match at WrestleMania, you say? They beat Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Now, the match looked aesthetically better, being that they filmed the hard cam up the aisleway, and we don't see the empty seats or the empty crowd. But man, oh man, Andrade and Garza beat the two, and I hate saying this because I love both Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. I've been lobbying that they get better positioning on this show for quite some time, really. But I mean, Andrade and Angel Garza, realistically, I'm gonna shoot the shit with you like I always do. These two guys, they beat the biggest losers, minus Humberto Carrillo, on the show. And this is what's getting them a tag team title opportunity at WrestleMania. Ricochet has not won since I don't know when. Cedric Alexander has been making a nice little home for himself on 205 Live and wherever else. Main Event, Superstars, whatever. They're all the fucking same show. All right? He's made a nice little home for himself on Main Event. But he is in this match with Ricochet. And it's funny, you know, they put this match together, and I'm sure the discussions at the creative meeting before this show took place. Who could we pair with Andrade and Angel Garza? Oh, that's right. Ricochet's a loser. Cedric's a loser. Why don't we pair the two losers together? Simple. There you go. Probably took them all about 15 seconds to come up with this match, and Andrade and Angel Garza beat two of the biggest losers in the company right now to get an opportunity at the Raw Tag Team titles. This one went 20 minutes. It was a very good match for what it was. It really was. It did not need to happen, but Andrade and Garza win. So we got the ending here. Andrade had Ricochet grounded in an armbar. Profits were on commentary. You know, I asked for liveliness in the crowd, maybe some WWE PC students or something. I didn't ask for cringe commentary by the Street Profits, but, you know, another ignorant stance by Vince McMahon. Phillips asked Montez what's in his plastic cup. He said happiness. Now, that could mean multiple things. What is the happiness that you have in your cup? Usually for me, it's a nice cold beer. Nice cold craft beer. Maybe a Guinness. Maybe Three Philosophers. Maybe a Mad Elf. Right? Maybe a Wells Banana Bread. You know? Could be anything. But what's in Montez Ford cup? He said happiness. I'm pretty sure it's that crystal clear H2O that Titus is serving and catering. Super filtered H2O. So Garza super kicked Ricochet in the chest, and then Ricochet caught him flying off the second rope with a drop kick to the chest. The Profits were acting like cheerleaders on commentary throughout this match. A lot of energy, some say. A lot of cringe, I say. Like Asuka. Not good. Not good. For the finish of this match, Andrade finished Cedric with a back elbow. The ref seemed to didn't know what the finish of the match was. He stopped mid-count, and then he ended up counting to 3 anyway. Maybe Cedric Alexander botched the ending. I don't know if you guys were watching or not. The referee kind of stuttered with his 3 count. He stopped, and then he continued the 3, and then Cedric kicked out after the 3 count was made. It was a fucking mess. The back elbow, though, looked great in slow motion. You've seen the back elbow in slow motion. And Cedric had all of his spit fly all over the place. It was a really great-looking back elbow by Andrade. After the match, the Profits gave them props. They stood and applauded from the announce desk. Garza and Andrade were taunting them from the ring. The Profits lost patience and walked to the ring wearing their tag team titles. A weak sell for the match that clearly Andrade and Garza did not deserve by beating Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. So they were swarmed by Andrade and Garza. They were being beaten down. Profits fought back and got the better of them quickly. The heels fled to the back, and the Profits were in the ring, and then they were up next. The Profits were in the ring awaiting their next match. I don't understand why we had to have the Street Profits wrestle on this show and then be presented in this way as far as the sneak attack goes, and then, oh yeah, the Street Profits have their match up next. Why? It just looks silly. There's no reason why the Street Profits needed to wrestle on Monday Night Raw. So we got the Street Profits versus Shane Thorne and Brendon Vink from NXT. Never seen Brendon Vink before, but Shane Thorne I've seen several times. He's very good. So the Street Profits win here. Dawkins got a hot tag after Montez Ford was being beaten down. Ford tagged back in, landed his frog splash on Thorne for the win. That was it. Yeah, the Street Profits were going to lose to Shane Thorne and Brendon Vink as they just announced them defending the tag team titles against Andrade and Garza at WrestleMania. Come on. Was the ending ever in doubt? No. I know these shows have been completely boring. They've been lifeless. There's no energy to these shows, and that's partly due to WWE's ignorance. But these shows have been boring. Lots of reruns, nothing new, nothing exciting going on while we're on the road to WrestleMania. I've looked for different ways to bide my time during these episodes of Monday Night Raw in this down period, and I have found that online shopping is a very good time killer. Now, I use Honey. I don't know if you guys know what Honey is, but Honey is the free online shopping tool that automatically finds you the best promo codes and applies them to your cart. And do you know how great it is to save money? I know I do because I use Honey. Saving with Honey feels like finding off the script in your sub box on a Friday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. right here on YouTube. That's how great it feels to save money with Honey. Now, I recently shopped for a brand new pillow. Not because Monday Night Raw is boring. I genuinely need some new sleeping pillows, but sleeping on a nice fluffy pillow during Monday Night Raw doesn't hurt at all. Honey has found over 18 million members, over $2 billion in savings. And I want you to know that Honey supports over 30,000 online stores, including Macy's, Target, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. And they're constantly adding stores every single day. Users love Honey. That's why it has over 100,000 five-star reviews on the Google Chrome store. Falling asleep during a boring Monday Night Raw feels pretty damn great. Using Honey to save some money feels pretty damn great. Think of it as a little victory for yourself. Plus, it's free, and it installs right on your browser in just a few seconds. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/offthescript. Once again, guys, that's joinhoney.com/offthescript, and save yourself some money by using Honey. So we get back to the show, and Riddick Moss is jogging in his neighborhood, and he is abiding by the social distancing. A referee drove by, And Moss says he knows he can't afford to live in this neighborhood, so what are you doing here? What's going on? So he ordered the ref to pull over and get out of his car. When he did, R-Truth came out of the trunk of the car and rolled Riddick Moss up on the grass and won back the 24/7 title. Great. So Riddick Moss beats Ricochet and beats Cedric Alexander on Monday Night Raw, only to lose the title back to R-Truth in front of his home, for all we know. In front of his home on his front lawn, as a WWE referee pulls up in a cheap rental. Awesome. Rick O'Shea and Cedric Alexander. What did I call them before? Just add Humberto into that and call them the three amigo losers. Awful. Charley Caruso is in the ring with Shayna Baszler, really making... Why don't we see more of this instead of watching reruns on this show from yesteryear? Charley Caruso's in the ring with Shayna Baszler, and it was all blacked out. Nice dark background for Shayna Baszler because Shayna's dark. Shayna's a dark individual. Baszler was staring a hole in Charley Caruso. Caruso talked about Baszler dominating the Elimination Chamber. The Elimination Chamber dominated my boredom, for sure. She asked how she will conduct herself as champion if she beats Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. How she will conduct herself as champion if she beats Becky Lynch at WrestleMania? Honey, it's when she beats Shayna Baszler at WrestleMania. So Baszler didn't respond, neither would I. It's a ridiculous question. Caruso tried again. Baszler said she sure looks nervous and asked, "Why are you so nervous? Are you afraid I'm going to bite?" Sorry, I couldn't help myself. She smiled because she thought she was a comedian. Maybe she should join Dolph Ziggler on stage at his next comedy act. Caruso said she bit Becky in the back of her neck. She asked if Becky should expect that level of aggression and tactics like she had done to her at WrestleMania. Baszler said what Becky should expect is that she's going to lose. What am I going to expect at WrestleMania? Am I going to fall asleep on night 1 and night 2? Am I going to be bored out of my fucking mind where I'm wishing that there was no WrestleMania? I'd love to know. So Baszler said what she wants to know is why does she want the Raw title so much? Then she says, "I love to destroy." So does Vince. Vince loves to destroy the hearts and souls of every human being watching his programming on Monday and Friday night. She said beating Becky at WrestleMania for that title will destroy Becky. I can only hope, because this version of Becky Lynch is fucking awful. She said from the beginning, she has shown everyone who she is. And then Caruso showed a clip from the Survivor Series the last time she and Becky shared a ring. I would rather not relive this because the match was fucking terrible. Instead, Becky surprised Baszler with a chair shot to the back. Becky swung and hit her across the back again and then looked down at Baszler, just wincing in pain from these chair shots, smiled and walked away as her music began to play. Phillips then said, "How is the cage fighter going to respond before WrestleMania?" There you go. Can it be any more boring? Seriously. What did this promo, honestly, I love Shayna, but what did this promo accomplish in the grand scheme of things for their match at WrestleMania? All I seen here was, okay, let's get Shayna and Becky on the show because we have to do something in order to build to their match at WrestleMania. That's it. I mean, what else needs to be done? The bite kind of sealed the deal for this match. And then Becky went on embarrassing herself, and then she embarrassed Shayna in the meantime because nobody took Shayna to be serious with Becky Lynch acting the way that she did. Then Shayna buried the entire fucking Raw women's division in one match, which I didn't really give a shit about. They were all buried before she got in that match anyway. And that's it. That's it. What else do you need to tell me? She's the cage fighter. She's the queen of spades. She's going to beat Becky Lynch, right? That's it. I don't know what else needs to be done here. I thought I was going to be a little bit more interested in this match, and I can honestly tell you I'm not. All I want is for Shayna to win the title, and we can move on from this bullshit. It's amazing to me how WWE has dropped the ball on Becky's title reign, and then Becky's second biggest feud outside Sasha Banks. That was okay. Becky showed more of the Becky we love in a feud with Sasha Banks than she has with Shayna Baszler. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? It means that WWE does not give a fuck about anything happening at WrestleMania. And that's the God honest truth. WWE showcased Becky in the way that we need to see Becky better in her feud with Sasha than we're seeing with a legit Shayna Baszler. That's sad. And I'm actually disappointed in everything that's happening with this feud. I'm not sold on it. I just want it to be over. So we get Alistair Black versus Leon Ruff from Evolve. This one went 1 minute. Alistair Black made his entrance with the creaks and the cracks. He rose up from the dead here inside the Performance Center. Phillips said Ruff looked terrified, and Black was sitting down, and Leon Ruff was wondering why he was sitting down. He went for a kick. He got up. Black mass, 1, 2, 3, and that was it. So I'd love for someone in WWE to tell me, I would love for someone in WWE to tell me how exactly this built towards his match with Bobby Lashley. I mean, do we not know who Alistair Black is? I think we do. Alistair Black went right back to jobbing, or not job, well, he was jobbed out for the Undertaker feud. Like I said he was. And now he's back to enhancement matches with Leon Ruff from Evolve. I'd love for someone to tell me how this builds towards his match with Bobby Lashley and why Alistair Black versus Bobby Lashley is even on the fucking card. That's what I would like to know. I don't even think WWE knows. Kevin Owens was in the ring. It's one of the best parts of the show right here. Kevin Owens was in the ring. He said last week he was there to answer his challenge, but Seth was nowhere to be found. He asked if he got something to say. What are we waiting for? Come on, Messiah. Grace us with your presence. So out came Seth Rollins. He stood on the stage. He walked to the ring, and he asked KO if he honestly believes that fighting him in that building gives him the home field advantage. Now, I will say this. WWE is hyping up multiple locations for WrestleMania. I'm going to make a prediction right now. I think Rollins and Owens is going to be filmed inside Full Sail University. I'm making a prediction. I don't know if Full Sail is completely closed down. They may open it back up just for WWE's purposes of WrestleMania. It would make complete sense of Rollins and Owens inside Full Sail and not at the Performance Center. If they're going to do multiple locations, I could see this being the one genuine wrestling match here out of all the gimmicks that could possibly be at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens inside Full Sail University might be a very good backdrop for what they're trying to do here. Seth said it's true that he didn't train there and KO did, and that KO earned his WWE job in that building. He asked him if he understands how he got the opportunity to do all those things. Seth said he didn't train in the building because it didn't exist when he got to WWE. Seth said, this building was built on my blood, sweat, and tears, Kevin. On my sacrifice, on my success. He said his first day in WWE was a dilapidated warehouse. He said everything he did before he got here didn't matter. He said his whole life's work went up in smoke and he will never understand that sacrifice. He said he had to come back and persevere. He said it wasn't about him, but rather he had to succeed so people like KO would have an opportunity to train in a beautiful facility like that. He says he's been trying to rebuild the system again and KO has been standing in his way. He asked if it was selfishness or ego getting in the way. He said he refuses to fall in line. None of this exists without Seth Rollins. NXT doesn't exist without Seth Rollins. The Performance Center doesn't exist without me. He said everyone owes it to him because there's no Gargano, there's no Ciampa, there's no Takeover, no Women's Evolution. That's a pretty hard sell there, Rollins. No Women's Evolution without him. He said without him, most of all, there is no Kevin Owens. I mean, I want to say that he's wrong, but I can honestly look at Seth Rollins and what he said here as kind of being legit. Kinda. You know? I like it. I really do. I don't know why they're feuding. I said this weeks ago. I don't know why any of this is happening. What are they fighting over? I'm still asking this 2 weeks out of WrestleMania. I still don't know. KO said he won't sit there and listen to his delusional speech. Seth interrupted again and says he wants to finish. Please, can I finish? Please. Said he wants to know and needs to know why he picked WrestleMania of all places to try and make an example out of him. He asked if he knows his track record at WrestleMania. He talked about his big moments and wins at WrestleMania over the years. He said KO has 0 WrestleMania moments. He said Kevin Owens' track record reads like this: failure after failure after failure after failure. Kevin Owens and Vince McMahon have something in common. Failure after failure after failure after failure. Sounds like Monday Night Raw. Sounds like SmackDown on Fox. Sounds like every episode of SmackDown on Fox from the debut episode on October 2nd. October 4th. Right? Failure after failure, except that NXT episode. Failure after failure after failure after failure. Failure is one of my favorite words. I love using the term failure when it comes to anything related to the WWE. So last year, he wasn't even good enough to be on WrestleMania. Now, I don't remember why Kevin Owens wasn't on WrestleMania last year. Was it the fact that he was hurt? I was going to say maybe he was hurt, right? I think he was hurt. So the fact that they're using that and pretending if he was real, I'm not even sure if he was hurt or not. I think so. And if he was, and that's the reason why he missed WrestleMania, it's shitty to see WWE use the fans and their intelligence as fucking, whatever. The fans won't remember. He might have been hurt. Why would WWE intentionally leave Kevin Owens off of WrestleMania? It doesn't make any sense. I don't think they would ever leave Kevin Owens off of WrestleMania. He was hurt. So, he said he can't beat him on his worst day, and WrestleMania is never his worst day because under the pressure, he becomes a god. Kevin Owens was just looking and listening. You really don't stand a chance at WrestleMania. This was excellent. This was one of Seth Rollins. In this current version of Seth Rollins, this was easily his best promo. This might have been one of Seth Rollins' best promos, period. And like I mentioned with the Paul Heyman promo in the beginning, sometimes the emptiness of an arena and the vibe that one gives off when they cut a promo, it just works better in that environment. I honestly think if the fans were in attendance, they would have actually taken away from what Seth Rollins tried to say here. I honestly think without the fans there, Seth Rollins did a better job. This promo hit on all the points. It got across the right vibe. It was just the right temperature in this situation. This promo was excellent in the situation with the empty arena. And the empty arena enhanced what Seth Rollins did in this excellent promo. Took it from being excellent to fucking phenomenal. This was easily one of his best promos. I love this. I still don't know why they're feuding. I don't know why they're feuding. I didn't know why they were feuding in fucking 2 months on Monday Night Raw when we had full arenas. I don't know. And I don't know now. I don't even think this is going to be a good match at WrestleMania. I think this is going to be a complete letdown. But on this night, this promo was anything but a letdown. So, we had another rerun of Charlotte Flair versus Asuka at WrestleMania 32. Oh, no, it wasn't. What was it? WrestleMania, I don't even remember. WrestleMania 2018. New Orleans, 32. 32 was in Texas. That was awful. They're replaying that on Sunday, by the way. That's why I'm thinking that. WrestleMania 34. So we see Flair and Asuka at WrestleMania 2018. And I got to watch this match over and over again. It just sucks. I don't want to see reruns. So we see Asuka lose her streak of 914 days to Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 2018. Then we see a Charlotte Flair promo, and we see her talking about Rhea Ripley, and we see her telling everybody that Rhea is going to lose, and Rhea wants to be Charlotte, and she wants that WrestleMania moment, and she feels on top of the world that she's defending the NXT title for the first time at WrestleMania. And Charlotte Flair says she's going to win, and blah, 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 blah. Whatever androids usually say. And then she Then she went back to her fucking factory and recharged her batteries, and then that was it for Charlotte Flair. Who cares? If there's one match that has been decimated by what is going on in WrestleMania, it's this match between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. I could not give a single shit about Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. You might, because you're a fucking loser, but I don't. All I know is going into that, Rhea Ripley needs to win, and we need to just get the fuck away from Charlotte Flair and being the NXT champion and being on NXT. God forbid. Randy Orton. I thought we were closing with Charlotte and Asuka, and I forgot Orton was even in the show. So we've seen Randy Orton walk to the stage, he had a microphone in hand. Falls Count Anywhere match. That's what Edge is pushing for at WrestleMania. So over the past few months, he said some things have been misunderstood. He said what he said came from a place of love, but it's been seen and taken as an act of brutality and violence. He says he's talking to Edge to respond to his challenge from last week, but first he wants to get something off his chest. He said he needs to apologize because 3 weeks ago he lied to his wife, Beth Phoenix, when he said he was a junkie for the roar of the crowd. You're not a junkie for the roar of the crowd, Edge. You're a junkie for your own ego. Adam Copeland is a junkie for Edge. So now we're getting the real life name of Edge, just like we're getting Mark Calloway mentioned in his feud with AJ Styles, Undertaker and Styles. So last week there was something he said that rang true, and that's the fact that never had to pay for his dues. He never had to pay for his dues to earn an opportunity. He said he would be the first to admit he was handed an opportunity because of who he was, and his last name is Orton. Just because I was handed an opportunity doesn't guarantee me a Hall of Fame career, does it? Actually, it doesn't, really. Because a lot of people don't live up to that. You know, just ask Ted DiBiase Jr. Seriously. Ask Cody Rhodes in WWE, of course. Now, I think Cody is one of the best storytellers in all of the business. One of the best things in the business, period, at this juncture. But he's not a WWE Hall of Famer. I don't think he will ever be a WWE Hall of Famer. So he's right there. So we've seen footage there of Orton with some big early wins in his career, including the IC title and facing Mick Foley. He said he went from a prospect to the 3 most deadliest letters in sports entertainment. He said that wasn't handed to him. He said it's because he had grit. So does Titus. Titus has grits in the morning for everybody. And I heard they're fantastic. Grit. Randy Orton has grit. He said grit to him isn't sitting at, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I got to get the fuck out of here. That's what I got to do. He said grit to him isn't sitting at home for 9 years looking at the sky and asking, what if? What if is my favorite Creed song off of Human Clay. Just figured I'd throw that out there. Good old Mark Tremonti. Scott Stapp sucks, though. I always hated Scott Stapp. What if? He said grit to him is longevity in an industry that seldom has any. He said it's being one of the constant in WWE and in the locker room. WWE is a constant every fucking Friday. They're awful with SmackDown. So WWE knows the thing about being constant and consistent as well. He said when he looks to his left and looks to his right in the locker room, he doesn't see others who have accomplished anything or anywhere to what he's accomplished. Of course, you're Randall Keith Orton, motherfucker. Of course not. Yeah, I'm looking to my left and I see No Way Jose. Yeah, I'm looking to my right and I look at Ricochet or Humberto. Yeah, the Orton's probably having a nice little fucking chuckle when he's looking to his left and right on the Monday Night Raw locker room. So, he said nobody has as much grit as him. Dana Brooke usually has the most grits out of anybody in Titus Catering on a Friday morning. Just throwing that out there. So, he said including Edge. He said, Edge is an entitled brat. He said, Edge, though, would have done the same thing had the opportunity presented itself. He asked if he would have said no to Triple H if he asked to join Evolution. He said everything he has done to Edge and his wife was because he loves him and his family. Now, if someone loved me like Edge is loved by Randy Orton, I would never want to be loved. I'm just saying. So he loves their daughters, so he sent Edge home to them. He said, Edge wants him in a last man standing match, and while Edge thinks he's writing their story, he accepts the challenge, and he's going to write the ending of the story at WrestleMania, and he's going to write the final chapter. This promo was awesome. This promo was excellent. This has been the most consistent thing on Monday Night Raw. It's been the strongest storytelling on Monday Night Raw. That last line kind of brought me back to Cody and MJF. MJF said the same thing about Cody, that he was going to write the final chapter in Cody's book, right? When he beats Cody. So that actually happened, and I feel like WWE kind of took that from Cody and MJF. So that nice little line there. Probably not, but it's very similar. Very similar in execution. This was great. I mean, there's nothing really else to say about this. Edge and Randy Orton have killed it. It really is the only thing on WrestleMania's card that truly feels like WrestleMania. Everything else just feels like it's there, you know? And even though Edge is a semi-WWE performer, he's a semi-retired WWE performer. He's only back because he wants to be back. He wants to go out his own way. He's got a nice, comfy contract, 3 years at $9 million, and that's what's being reported. He's only going to wrestle 25 dates a year. He's going to only have 25 dates per year, wrestle probably 3 or 4 big matches. It's Edge, and we missed Edge, and we love Edge, and we're happy to see him back and healthy and doing his thing and going out his own way. Hopefully, barring any injuries, the 3 years is all he needs to kind of redeem himself and put him back in that space of being content with the way his career ended. Even though it is a semi-retired guy against Randy Orton, who's a full-time guy on a very part-time basis, it truly feels like it's the only thing that is WrestleMania worthy this year. And it's sad that it really is, out of everything, a 2-night show. The only thing that I'm actually looking forward to on this show. I'm legitimately looking forward to nothing on this show. Now, Daniel Bryan hasn't even been booked in a match yet. I want to say it's Daniel Bryan versus Sammy. That'll make 2 matches out of 2 nights that I'm looking forward to. But, man, oh man, WWE has dropped the ball on this WrestleMania. They've dropped the ball on these shows. Everything just feels like, just get it out there and just fuck everything, you know? But I can't take anything away from the performances that Edge gave. And he drove 15, 16, 17 hours just to get there last week to cut that 5-minute promo. Randy Orton comes out with nobody, and he cut a great promo, another one of those promos. And it's those guys. Rollins cut a great promo. Heyman cut a great promo. Orton cut a great promo in front of nobody. It actually benefited that there was no fans in attendance. You know? They pulled it off masterfully. Cut a great promo. Only thing on the show that I'm looking forward to. And what else could be said? This is the only thing WrestleMania worthy on this show. WWE, man, I don't know what they're going to do. I hate it. I hate that WrestleMania is being taped. I hate that it's going on. I wish it was postponed. I really do. I really do. I don't want to blame Vince McMahon completely, but I really do wish it was postponed. And I pray to God that with WWE constantly adding and adding and adding still to WrestleMania, that they know what they're doing. I hope that they prove all of us wrong on April 4 and April 5. I really do. Because right now I'm not feeling anything towards WrestleMania. I'm treating WrestleMania, honestly, I'm treating WrestleMania like Raw is being treated by WWE, and SmackDown and WrestleMania is being treated like WWE. You know? Or by WWE. It's like they just put these shows on for the sake of putting on these shows. I feel like I'm watching it just for the sake of watching, and I'm reviewing just for the sake of reviewing because it's what I do. There's no energy. There's no life. There's no excitement in anything. And what WWE is doing is resonating on us. It's not exciting, and we're not showing excitement back for what they're doing. It's sad. It really is. Guys, I'm getting out of here. If you enjoyed the podcast, let me know what you think down below. I will be back tomorrow with some cool content on the channel. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JDfromNY206. JoinHoney.com/offthescript. Go and join Honey today. And I will see you guys right back here on Tuesday for more cool shit on the channel. Till then, guys, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you right back here for Doom Eternal on the podcast. See you then.